Hey everyone, we're back with another video. Today I just want to talk about a more like serious topic. Realize, guys, if you're going to go out here and try to chase success, chase a dream you have, put it all on the line, risk yourself, just like risk being embarrassed. Most people would rather hate on your dream. They would rather kind of like shit on it. They would rather do all these things kind of going against you in a sense because it's easier than themselves trying to chase their own dreams. It happens all the time. You see it happen all the time around you probably. You see it happen to all these like super successful people. It's so much easier for someone to sit there and just type some sort of comment on your video than it is for that person to go create their own channel, make their own video, right? Or it's easier for someone to see you working and trying to study and improve and just say, oh, you're not going to make it, than it is for them to go home, study themselves, and try to improve themselves. This applies to like all areas of life, whether it be content creation, trying to improve yourself academically, trying to improve yourself professionally. Like whenever you first start at anything, right? All the successful people, this is something most people don't like realize. All the successful people, when they first start off at anything, they sucked. They sucked horribly. Unless you're talking about maybe some athletic talent that's born, everybody else sucked horribly. Nobody is like born with some sort of, successful like mindset. Like all this stuff is just developed, right? So they had to suck at something. And then they definitely were made fun of when they started trying to do something where other people who don't share their vision, don't share their dream, and also don't have their work ethic, were just like, you're not going to make it, buddy. What are you doing? Right? Like all that stuff. But if you actually want to become successful, that's just something you have to endure. And I think it's something that maybe catches people by surprise because you're so focused on just trying to be successful yourself, right? You're trying to work really hard. You have so much on your plate already that when other people start hating on you, you're just like, whoa, what's going on? You're like, I'm already working so hard. I'm already managing all this stuff, right? It's already hard enough just for me to just focus on my own to get there, right? And now I got people like hating on me. I got people making fun of me. I got people, like making me feel like embarrassed, all this stuff. And yeah, I wish I could say that everybody on your journey to success is just going to want to support you and want to help you, but it's not true. And to really be honest, the further along you get in success, the more that becomes true. In that the more successful you become, the less people want to actually help you. Because if you start off with somebody and you guys are like at the same level and you just keep growing, grinding, working, and you just keep getting better and better, maybe they wanted to help you if you're at their same level because they know you're not going to be much better than them. But as soon as you start elevating, as soon as you start changing stuff, as soon as you start, actually improving yourself a lot, you get to a point where you're, just above them in terms of like you're willing to work, you're, like willing to always grow, willing to fail, take risks, and you've learned a lot because you've failed a lot and you have a lot more experience in that regard. And you're just going to keep progressing, right? But if you're not doing that, the other person is going to feel left behind. And they're going to feel like, wait, why are you ahead? We were the equals at one point. Now you're ahead of me because, you took that risk or you put in that extra hours that I didn't put in, or you took more like failures than I did, right? I was like scared to fail or something, right? But they're not going to think about that, right? They're just going to think about why are you ahead? We were equals. And they're just not going to be able to have an answer. And so when you try to become successful and you become successful, people are going to look at you and be like, well, why are you successful, right? Like what we were supposed to be the same. You're doing something wrong, right? And so this is going to create a lot of feelings of like resentment. And the last thing they're going to want to do is help you because you already got like above them, right? In a sense of like you went farther than they probably will unless they decide to take the risk and start failing and, experiencing stuff on their own. Like I've said, success is really not for everybody in that like it's a very, very hard process. It requires a very kind of specific mindset that can only be developed through a lot of personal failure and personal desire to actually grow and seeing the alternative to not growing. Those kind of experiences that make someone really, really hungry for success don't come all the time. And so as a result, most people are not, innately hungry for success. A lot of people make excuses for things, right? It's like, in this world, yes, there's a lot of things you can point to. Yes, it would be nice. It'd be a lot easier if we all had, an extra $100,000 that we could all just like play around with and, maybe start a business and, just do that and life would be so much better, or an extra $1 million, right? But to be honest, there's people out there who have that and like really it doesn't affect you. You can sit here and keep wishing. It just really does not affect you. In fact, what I do doesn't even affect you either. I'm here trying to help you guys, but to be honest, the only thing that affects your life is what you decide to do. Everybody else can, make you feel like, oh, life's not fair. Other people can maybe make you feel like life is fair. But regardless of whatever they make you feel like, the truth is you control your own life. You control every single decision you make. That is something you actually control. That is not something that people can control for you. So even if we talk about, oh, but I can't do this, or I don't have access to all these resources, or I don't have a network that can just connect me with somebody, and then I can't just do this and this and this, and you start talking about all these excuses. Yeah, maybe some of those things are right, but you focusing on them is not going to help your current situation. And oftentimes the people that are really, really hungry, they're not going to be making excuses because they're just simply too busy. They're too busy trying to utilize every single resource they have. And I'm going to be very honest, in today's world, if you're watching me, you have either some sort of technological device that can access the internet. And if you have that, you already have access to pretty much the entire wealth of knowledge that is out there. You have access to hundreds of millions of YouTube videos that can teach you any skill. You have access to probably at least some form of AI where you can ask it a couple questions for free without even paying anything. You have access to a lot of things. Even if you don't have internet, you can probably go somewhere where you can get some free Wi-Fi and work. So because of that, I would really challenge you to just not focus on all the excuses and limitations and things that aren't right in your life. Because yes, it's important to acknowledge those and, use them as fuel to grow. But if you keep focusing on what you don't have, you're going to forget to appreciate the things you do have. And it's going to make you not grateful. And what's going to happen is eventually, if you do become successful, you're going to have, let's say, $10 million, $20 million. And you're still not going to be happy because you're always looking ahead at the next person above you who has $30 million, right? Or $40 million. And you think oh, once I reach that, I'll never feel like that. But the problem is if you don't fix that habit now of not being grateful for what you have, you're never going to fix it. Once you have more money, it just gets worse, right? So just really focus on, be grateful for what you have and just put in excessive amounts of work and focus on the work and don't focus on those excuses of, oh, I don't have, a rich family. I don't come from, royalty or whatever, right? Just focus on what you can control and just maximize that as much as possible. I guarantee you, in this world, when everyone's focused on looks, appearances, and all the external, if you just focus on improving your internal, it's going to pay off. It will guaranteed pay off in some form or another. You just have to start. And when you start and you see people start to kind of hate on you in the beginning for your dream, just don't pay any of them any attention, Just expect it. That's all I'm trying to tell you guys through this. Success is so hard because it's just so hard in general. It's so hard to just work like that and fail. And then it gets even harder when you involve other people who are just putting in their 2 cents when you never even asked for it. So don't let them discourage you. Keep going. If you stick with the process, you'll eventually make it. And yeah, that's pretty much all the advice I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, put them down below. But if not, follow and subscribe for more.